As we journey across the wild and diverse landscapes of Kanto, a hidden world begins to reveal itself. From towering mountains to silent forests and distant seas, one by one, the legends of this region emerge. These are the 151 Pokémon of Kanto. At dawn, a young Bulbasaur awakens in the forest, drawing strength from the morning light. Ivysaur stands beneath a sunbeam, absorbing energy as pollen drifts gently around it. Deep in the jungle, Venusaur shapes the climate around its massive flower. Near warm volcanic stone, Charmander's tail flame flickers softly in the early light. Charmeleon marks its territory with confidence, sparks rising as it carves into the rock. High above the cliffs, Charizard rides powerful thermal winds, commanding the open sky. Along a quiet river, Squirtle glides through crystal water, sunlight shimmering across its shell. Wartortle leads younger Pokémon through gentle currents, its tail glowing with ancient wisdom. Blastoise stands guard at a natural pool, steam rising from its cannons as the earth trembles slightly. On a delicate leaf, Caterpie moves slowly, each tiny hair catching the morning dew. Metapod hangs silently in the forest, waiting for the moment its transformation begins. Butterfree drifts over wildflowers, scattering shimmering pollen into the morning air. Weedle crawls across the bark, its tiny stinger glistening as it searches for food. Deep inside a hollow tree, Kakuna remains perfectly still, protected from the world outside. Beedrill patrols the forest with fierce precision, its wings humming through the air. In the tall grass, Pidgey pecks quietly at scattered seeds warmed by the rising sun. Pidgeotto watches from above, scanning the landscape as a gentle wind moves through its feathers. Over the open plains, Pidgeot dives with incredible speed, mastering the winds with ease. Rattata moves quickly through the grass, alert to every sound and scent around it. Raticate gnaws through tough wood, sharpening its teeth as it maintains its territory. Spearow scans the open savanna from its perch, alert to every movement in the grass. Fearow dives with incredible speed, slicing through the air as it hunts across the plains. Ekans moves silently through tall grass, its body gliding with careful rhythmic motion. Arbok unfurls its hood in a powerful display, warning any creature that comes too close. Pikachu gathers static in its cheeks, reacting to distant sounds in the forest around it. Raichu releases a controlled burst of electricity, sending vibrations through the ground. Sandshrew digs quickly into the sand, using its claws to form a protective tunnel. Sandslash sharpens its long claws against stone, preparing to defend its territory. Nidoran female steps cautiously from behind a boulder, sensing the air for nearby predators. Nidorina stands firmly, ready to defend her group from any approaching threat. Nidoqueen stands firmly on a rocky ledge, her powerful stance sending a tremor through the ground. Nidoran female sniffs gently along the rocks, ears twitching at every distant sound. Nidorino lowers his head, ready to charge, scraping the dry earth beneath his feet. Nidoking towers over the cracked riverbed, releasing a deep growl that echoes across the valley. Clefairy gathers under the moonlight, their bodies glowing softly as they turn toward the sky. Clefable moves gracefully by the lakeshore, gliding like a moonlit reflection. Vulpix curls its tails close, exhaling warm breath into the cold night air. Ninetails watches over the misty valley, its 9 tails flowing like ancient ribbons in the wind. Jigglypuff sways gently on a mossy rock, as if humming a quiet lullaby to the forest. Wigglytuff stands guard at the grove's edge, breathing calmly as smaller Pokémon rest nearby. Zubat emerges at dusk, navigating the night through rapid bursts of echolocation. Golbat leads a swirling swarm across the twilight sky, its wings beating with powerful rhythm. Oddish absorbs moonlight quietly, its leaves trembling as soft spores drift around it. Gloom releases a heavy, sweet nectar, filling the air with its unmistakable scent. Vileplume spreads a cloud of glowing spores, painting the night with drifting colours. Paras crawls along a fallen log, its tiny claws tapping softly against the wood. Parasect moves slowly, guided by the mushroom that controls its every step. Venonat stands alert, reacting to even the faintest vibrations in the night air. Venomoth spreads shimmering powder with every beat of its wings under the moonlight. Diglett surfaces for a moment, shifting the soil before vanishing back underground. Dugtrio makes the ground tremble softly as its three heads emerge from the soil. Meowth moves silently along the stones, eyes glinting as it searches for scraps of food. Persian rests on a warm rock, calmly watching its surroundings with half-closed eyes. Psyduck stands in shallow water, holding its head as gentle ripples spread around its feet. Golduck cuts smoothly through the lake, its streamlined body gliding beneath the surface. Mankey leaps from branch to branch, shaking leaves and snapping twigs in restless bursts. Primate paces the rocky ground, each heavy step filled with barely controlled frustration. Growlithe sniffs the breeze, ears raised, ready to react to the slightest unfamiliar sound. Arcanine runs along the ridge with powerful strides, its mane flowing in the mountain wind. Poliwag paddles near the riverbank, drawing soft ripples across the surface of the water. Poliwhirl stands in a shallow river, its spiral pulsing softly as water flows around it. Poliwrath holds its ground against a powerful current, muscles tensed beneath the surface. Abra sits completely still on a rock, eyes closed as energy shimmers faintly in the air. Kadabra grips its spoon, bending light and sound around it with quiet, focused power. Alakazam meditates on a stone platform, lifting loose rocks without moving a single muscle. Machop trains by lifting heavy stones, each movement building strength and control. Machoki stacks boulders into a crude wall, placing each rock with deliberate precision. Machamp raises a massive slab of stone overhead, all four arms working in perfect harmony. Bellsprout sways with the wind, drawing moisture from the soil through its delicate roots. Weepinbell hangs from a branch, droplets falling from its mouth onto the forest floor below. Victreebel hangs from a jungle branch, releasing a sweet mist that draws cautious insects closer. Tentacle drifts near the surface, its translucent body glowing softly beneath the gentle waves. Tentacruel moves deeper below, its long tentacles sweeping through the dark ocean water. Geodude shifts slightly on the hillside, revealing itself among the surrounding stones. Graveler rolls down the slope, scattering rocks and dust as it slows to a stop. Golem stands firm at the cliff base, its heavy presence causing a subtle vibration in the ground. Ponyta gallops across the plateau, its flame mane flickering without burning the grass below. Rapidash sprints along the ridge at sunset, embers trailing behind its blazing mane. Slowpoke rests at the river's edge, its tail drifting lazily in the gentle current. Slowbro stands calmly in the shallow surf, the creature on its tail holding firm as waves roll past. Magnemite floats silently, its single eye rotating as faint sparks hum through the air. Magneton pulses with synchronized bursts of energy, lifting small stones beneath its magnetic field. Farfetch'd walks along the marsh, holding its reed close as it surveys the calm, shallow water. Doduo crosses the dry grassland, its two heads scanning opposite directions with perfect coordination. Dodrio sprints across the plains, its three heads shifting focus rapidly as dust trails behind it. Seal surfaces at the icy shore, releasing a soft puff of mist before sliding onto the frosted rocks. Dugong glides beneath the ice, its smooth white form drifting gracefully between frozen sheets. Grimer shifts its gelatinous mass along the canal, absorbing particles as it moves through the sludge. Mook settles heavily into a pool of toxins, bubbling softly as fumes rise from its surface. Shelder clings to a tide pool rock, opening slightly as waves wash gently over its shell. Cloyster rests in the cold tide, its jagged shell creaking softly as waves wash across it. Ghastly drifts through the mist, its swirling vapor pulsing with faint ghostly energy. Haunter emerges from the fog, its free-floating hands circling its shadowy core. Gengar forms from a collapsing shadow, its presence cooling the ground beneath it. Onyx bursts from the earth, stone segments twisting as dust billows into the air. Drowsy moves slowly along the trail, sampling scents with its strange rhythmic nose. Hypno stands beneath a twisted tree, its pendulum swinging in deliberate, hypnotic arcs. Krabby scuttles across the rocks, its claws clicking sharply as waves crash nearby. Kingler raises its massive claw, snapping it once in a powerful territorial display. Voltorb hums quietly among metallic debris, sparks of static dancing across its surface. Electrode rests on the cracked ground, its surface pulsing softly with static energy. Exeggcute lies clustered beneath the palm tree, each shell shifting gently as if communicating. Exegutor towers above the beach, its three heads swaying slowly in the warm coastal breeze. Cubone sits near the rocks, gripping its bone tightly as the evening light reflects off its skull helmet. Marowak performs a slow ritual, spinning its bone with controlled rhythmic precision. Hitmonlee stretches its elongated legs, each movement extending far beyond natural anatomy. Hitmonchan practices deliberate punches, each strike sending a faint pulse of air through the plateau. Lickitung explores the underbrush, tasting nearby plants with its long, flexible tongue. Coughing drifts in the ravine, releasing gentle puffs of toxic gas from its rocky surface. Wheezing hovers in slow motion, exhaling synchronized bursts of vapor into the swirling fog. Rhyhorn trudges across the cracked plain, its heavy armor grinding with every step. Raiden watches from the canyon's edge, sensing distant tremors deep within the earth. Chansey moves gently through the meadow, carefully protecting the egg held in its pouch. Tangela hides among the undergrowth, only its bright eyes visible through the tangled vines. Kangaskhan stands guard in the valley, its young peeking out briefly from the safety of its pouch. Horsear hovers near the coral, stabilizing itself with soft jets of water from its snout. Ciadra glides along the seafloor, weaving carefully between rocks and coral formations. Goldeen swims through shafts of sunlight, its flowing fins trailing gracefully behind it. Seeking patrols the deeper pool, its powerful tail strokes echoing through the water. Staryu rests on the sandy floor, its core pulsing softly as waves roll overhead. Starmie rotates slowly through the water, its glowing core pulsing in steady rhythm. Mr. Mime shapes invisible barriers in the forest air, each motion rippling softly around it. Scyther waits motionless in the tall grass, its blades gleaming as it prepares to strike. Jinx stands in the snowy clearing, a cold wind carrying its soft, haunting voice. Electabuzz prowls the power station ruins, sparks dancing across its striped fur. Magmar watches the lava pool bubble, waves of heat shimmering around its body. Pinsir grips the massive tree trunk, its mandibles tightening with immense strength. Tauros stomps the dry ground, snorting as dust rises around its powerful frame. Magikarp splashes weakly along the riverbank, settling back into the flowing water. Gyarados rises from the depths, its roar echoing beneath the storm-filled sky. Lapras glides through polar waters, releasing a warm breath into the frozen air. Ditto ripples gently atop the stone, its amorphous body shifting in subtle waves. Eevee stands in the clearing, its fluffy tail swaying as pollen drifts around it. Vaporeon rests at the lake's edge, water rippling softly around its shimmering fins. Jolteon crouches low, sparks crackling through its quill-like fur. Flareon lies beside glowing embers, warm air shimmering around its mane. Porygon rotates slowly in the dim chamber, surrounded by soft electronic distortion. Omanite crawls along the reef, its tentacles gripping the stone with calm precision. Omastar rises from the tide pool, its ancient shell creaking as water flows around it. Kabuto moves across the wet sand, its dome-like shell catching moonlit reflections. Kabutops stands in the shallow surf, water streaming from its blades as waves break around it. Aerodactyl glides along the cliff face, riding violent air currents beneath the stormy sky. Snorlax sleeps in the meadow, its massive body rising and falling with slow, heavy breaths. Articuno crosses the frozen peaks, scattering frost crystals as its wings cut through the cold air. Zapdos hovers over the plateau, crackling with energy as thunder roars around it. Moltres flies through the twilight, its flaming wings tracing a trail of fading embers. Dratini glides beneath the lake's surface, leaving gentle ripples in the clear mountain water. Dragonair coils gracefully in the mist, its glowing orbs casting a faint ethereal light. Dragonite lands on the cliff edge, calmly watching the ocean stretch out below. Mewtwo hovers in the dark chamber, warping the air with a silent surge of psychic power. Mew drifts silently through the ancient forest, its soft pink aura shimmering with gentle, mythical energy. As dusk settles over Kanto, the presence of its 151 Pokémon still lingers in the air. Thank you for exploring the realms of Pokémon.